Now, Anna Wintour is not leaving Vogue, okay? They're going to take her out feet first in a box. It's not happening. It's her only reason for living, truly. Just my opinion. But, you know, she announced that she was going to ascend to an overseeing role at Condé. I mean, she oversees everything at Condé Nast except the New Yorker. And she chose as her successor someone named Chloé Malle. Now, Chloe and Anna have been doing the media rounds, and it kind of has the vibe of like your mother not letting you walk to school by yourself. Like you're old enough to walk to school by yourself, to go to class by yourself, but she will not leave your side. And Chloe is the daughter of Candice Bergen, who was a famous, herself, she was a Nepo. Her father was Edgar Bergen. He was a famous ventriloquist. But Candice was very beautiful as a young woman. She was a model first, and then she became an actress. And she was most famous for her titular sitcom role as Murphy Brown, a reporter named Murphy Brown. Fun fact, JFK Jr. once did a cameo on Murphy Brown to promote his then new magazine, George, which was a disaster. And then her father, Chloe's father, was Louis Malle, a very famous French Oscar-winning director. These two produced a charisma vacuum. She is dour. She is dismal. I'm sorry, this is applicable because we are talking about Vogue. She is unglamorous. She looks like a refugee from 1940s Germany. Just put a babushka over her head. That's it. That's it. Now, the Daily Mail, before we get to these clips that are just devastating, had an amazing story the other day about what Vogue insiders really think about Chloe. And it's not good, okay? It's not good. While she thought it was probably the right appointment, a source told the Mail, Anna is probably like, what have I done? Listen, here's my theory. I think Anna Wintour is taking a page right out of the Bob Iger playbook. As you know, Bob Iger is the head of Disney, and he's always retiring. And in fact, he actually did retire. But what he did, this is just the supposition of business reporters who follow this guy for a living, tapped as his number two or promoted, handpicked his successor, a guy who was never going to be able to do anything close to what Bob Iger did. And it got so bad that the board begged Bob Iger to come back. And he was like, all right, if you really want me to, you know what I mean? And he's doing it all over again. Now he said he's going to leave again. You know, it's like Jamie Dimon over at JP Morgan Chase. Like there are some people who just never, ever are going to leave. Anna should just lean into it and just be like, listen, I'm not going anywhere. Nothing is going to save Vogue, okay? And certainly not this pick. Now, Radar Online was also reporting that the body language at this interview with Chloe and Anna. First, we're going to look at the one that they did for the New York Times. It's a video interview, and Anna is none too subtle. She never has been. But first of all, Chloe's going to talk about her qualifications to take on this role. And by the way, if Vogue dies, like that's kind of it. That's kind of it. Like it really is going to just send the message, that fashion will never be what it once was. And I think that part of the reason the JFK Jr. Carolyn Bessette show on Hulu is drawing such an audience is because that was the last time fashion really mattered in the 90s. It really mattered. And those of us who were there and lived through the 90s, especially in New York City, if you were in media or anything like that, you were a creative, it's missed. That is missed. And Anna helped kill it. And I'll tell you exactly when she did it. But here, let's look at Chloe talking about why she is the person for this job. Here we go.
Sometimes in fashion, people can feel too cool, unavailable, a bit laconic. And for me, I'm just never going to be that person.
She fundamentally misunderstands the assignment. Chloe fundamentally understands what it is not only to be a fashion editor, but a fashion editor of a magazine that once set the rules. Like Anna Wintour made fashion designers. Marc Jacobs does not become Marc Jacobs without Anna Wintour. John Galliano doesn't get a second chance, doesn't get an attempt to redeem himself without Anna Wintour. The late Alexander McQueen couldn't understand why Anna Wintour wouldn't cover him. He was like, what is it going to take? I'm a genius. He was right. She eventually did have to cover him. She did it in a very nasty way. But, you know, McQueen was one of a kind, you know. Anyway, that's the power that Anna wielded. And when you look at an Anna Wintour, she understands the assignment. A fashion editor needs to have a big personality. They need to have a distinctive look and branding. They are the face of the magazine. People want high fashion to be aspirational, Chloe. We don't want it to be like everything else that you can get at TJ Maxx. And Chloe screams TJ Maxx special. She does. There's nothing inspirational about her or aspirational about her. And she doesn't want to be. I want a Corrine Reutfeld running French Vogue, or an Emmanuel Alt, or a Diana Vreeland, or we've got to throw this in here. The woman who was the editor of the fictional magazine in Funny Face, the amazing Audrey Hepburn fashion movie Funny Face, which I've probably seen 100 times. And you have this editor come in. I forget who she was played by. Her name escapes me, but she was actually an author, and she got cast in this as the fashion editor. I think she was the woman who wrote the Eloise books, and I don't think she ever acted before or after that film, but she was incredible. And she was like this bold personality, and one of the biggest, I don't normally love musicals, but I love Funny Face. And the opening number is Think Pink. You know, this editor decides that hot pink is going to be the color of the season. And so it is. And so it is. And then she decides that Audrey Hepburn, who plays this mousy little bookworm working in a bookshop in the East Village and is a beat at heart and just wants to get to Paris so she can meet some philosopher, you know, and this woman plucks her and she's like, you want to go to Paris? I'll send you to Paris, but I'm going to clean you up and make you a high fashion model. You want to be in that movie, the Audrey Hepburn who's been made into a fashion model. You don't want to be the Audrey Hepburn who is working in the dusty, dingy bookshop, the basement bookshop in the East Village. Chloe wants to be the dingy Audrey. The rest of us want to be the fabulous Audrey. This is going to be a disaster. And I think Anna has, these are her Machiavellian moves. I think so. I think she wants Chloe to fall on her face so that the world can turn around and say, there's only one Anna Wintour. She's got to come back. Now, Chloe's going to talk about the advice, which is really the dictates that Anna Wintour gave her. Here we go.
I want to know, where is the you? What makes this issue yours? Where are the weird dogs, was the exact quote. And it was very liberating for me because I do feel the pressure of carrying on this enormous legacy. But having Anna say that to me allowed me to think about, but what makes this exciting to me right now?
Any great editor is going to have a strong personality, and
unlike
what
Chloe,
they see, what they feel, what they think is going to be reflected across all of our platforms.
I have no idea what Chloé Malle's point of view is. I have no idea what her personality is. She seems to lack a personality. I was reading online, some people were saying, like, you know who could have been a really good pick? Like a Lauren Santo Domingo. She could have been a good pick. You know who could have been a good pick? The fucking Olsen twins. Think outside the box. This is not it. Chloé Malle is not the one. Anna is utterly contemptuous throughout this whole thing. Like, the body language right there was bad, but it gets worse. Chloe is asked by the New York Times. I mean, these are softballs after softballs. You know, they have media training over at Condé Nast. Anna Wintour has been in the public eye for decades. Her mother is an actress. You would think this woman would have anticipated what some of these questions were going to be or what answers she would like to give. You know, just because you're asked a question, I've learned this in media training. Just because you're asked a question doesn't mean you have to answer it. You just pivot around and you give the answer you want to give. This woman's a drip. She's a drip. Oh, and she also says in this interview, you know, she wants to remain approachable because she wants the other moms at the school run to be able to come up to her as if she's going to the school run with a job like this. That's what the nannies are for. And Chloe, people like, it's not the assignment. It's not the assignment. Anyway, Chloe, what inspires you?
I am very inspired by what Vogue has been for a long time, and especially in the last 37 years. It's exciting to me, and I think that the people who I'm most excited by consistently are people who are really true to who they are and what excites them.
I don't even know what that means. That is such a generic boilerplate answer, and Anna is like smirking and laughing at it. And she's like turning her body completely away and looking down at the floor. Anna would like to exit the frame. She would like to exit the frame. And if you look at Chloe's body language, like she's kind of leaning in to Anna. Like she's kind of like looking for like approbation. She's kind of looking to be like, I'm good, right? Like I'm going to get to your level. Like you do believe in me, right? And Anna's just like, no, I don't even know you. I don't know this woman. The New York Times asks what Chloe would do if she had a Vogue budget akin to like a 1990s Vogue budget. And Anna is going to disagree.
If you did have the budget that Vogue had or another Condé Nast publication had in the late 90s, what would you do with it?
You've got me excited thinking about this now. Sort of what would I
That's
do?
Chloe
I would
excited?
build a whole new podcast studio. I would pay everyone 30% more. I would make sure the social team had more people on it because they're working all the time. I would have our app staffed more fully.
We have so many ideas about shoots that we're excited about doing that take people on adventures, and those budgets would really help with that. And we are still finding ways to do these things, but there's always more you can be doing.
But to be clear, Jessica, we have a very healthy budget at Vogue, and how we use it and use our resources is constantly changing depending on the moment.
So that was Anna basically negating everything that Chloe said. And she said, by the way, we have a very healthy budget. I don't believe you do. Nobody reads Vogue anymore. Nobody goes to Vogue for anything. Everybody is online. It's all about social media. It's all about Instagram trends, TikTok trends. Anna killed Vogue when she caved to pressure from Kanye and put Kim and Kanye on the cover. That was the moment that Vogue died. And then she took that corpse and ran over it 3 times with like a semi truck when she put Lauren Sanchez, that great vulgarian, on the cover of Vogue and had her photographed nesting in the enormous timepiece that's like the size of the Empire State Building that Jeff Bezos built underground at one of his compounds. It's dead, Anna. You killed it. And Chloé Malle is like, you own Chloe. That's your legacy. That's your legacy. Let's look at everything Chloé Malle is shopping for this spring. Don't you want to know what Chloé Malle is going to be wearing so we can all replicate these electrifying new looks? Oh my God. Oh my God. This is on Vogue Shopping, the official site. Can we go back to that first image? That first image, she looks like a graduate student who just raided the bargain bin at Banana Republic. I mean, I weep. I weep for what once was high fashion. Okay, let's go to slide 2. An Argyle sweater a navy button down, and a pair of jeans. Florals for spring, groundbreaking. Okay, slide 3, please. Chloe says, I always like to look like a fancy version of a college student. You haven't achieved that look, my friend. Argyle and button downs will never lead you astray. Okay, I'm just going to say something that nobody else is saying either. And this all folds into everything we've been talking about. You know, Carolyn Bessette is again having this major moment as she's on every mood board, fashion inspiration, the epitome of 90s minimalist chic. You know, a good pair of jeans, a good loafer, a good black turtleneck, a good bag, a tortoiseshell, what do you call those things? They push your hair back, headband, and a pair of like Prada sunglasses. Okay, the deal is, you could take every item I just described, but if you are not at least 5 foot 10.5 inches tall, weighing 115 pounds, with long blonde hair and blemish-free pale skin, you will not look the same. You'll look as dumpy as Chloe looks. And I'm just going to say it. Chloe looks dumpy. This is not who the editor of Vogue should be. As discussed, like the editor-in-chief of magazines, and I knew somebody like this, brilliant mind, brilliant, but couldn't do the public-facing part of the job, actually didn't want any part of the public-facing part of the job. And you won't last very long in a position like that, because that is half of the job. You know, it would be like if I came on the Nerve and dressed like Chloé Malle with like no makeup and like my hair just like a mess. It would show no respect for you guys, like none. I would never do that. Okay. Now let's go to Chloe talking to another Nepo baby, Jenna Bush Hager, over at the Today Show. And at one point, Jenna Bush is like, you and I have something in common. Like, we both come from famous families. It's one charisma-free, unattractive, vacuous, not super intelligent, completely uncompelling Nepo talking to another. And this is where this kind of stuff gets me angry, because there should be somebody far more talented sitting in Jenna's seat. And that far more talented person, it shouldn't matter whether they have connections or not. And in fact, you got to look for the people who don't have connections, who are probably going to work a lot harder to prove themselves. Same thing with Chloe. That job should be filled by somebody who can actually do it. Not somebody whose father was once the president of the United States and somebody whose mother was a famous star and father was a famous director. Jenna asks Chloe the existential question I don't think Chloe can answer. What's your vision? What is your vision for this next iteration of Vogue, which is literally, it's comatose, it's on life support, and every doctor on the team has prognosis negative, to quote Seinfeld. Here we go.
For me, and I did go through a very long, laborious application process for this role. And
sounds so glamorous.
That, I did several drafts of, and what
no
I
one
really
cares.
kept coming back to in that proposal was
struggling.
The idea of joy and optimism.
She took a million different ways around to get to that answer, which tells me she's bullshitting. She didn't prepare for this interview either. She did multiple rounds of multiple written tests for this job. This is who they go with. And she says her vision is joy and optimism. Listen, this is what The Devil Wears Prada really should have been about. Okay? It should have been about something like this. I don't think the new Devil Wears Prada is going to be very good. I don't think it's going to be very satisfying. But again, like, just put me in these writers' rooms. The culture gives you the plot line. Today's show is brought to you by Oxford Natural, home of the all-natural Optimum Day and Optimum Night supplements. Are you trying to lose weight and feel like yourself again? Thousands of men and women across the US and UK are already doing it with Oxford Natural. Optimum Day powers you with steady energy, crushes cravings, and keeps your metabolism firing all day. Optimum Night helps you relax, sleep deeply, recover, and keep burning fat while you rest. England's soccer legend Michael Owen lost 40 pounds, and Robbie, the face of AFTV, dropped over 100 pounds. It's worked for others too, with customer testimonials raving about Oxford Naturals' effectiveness. Now, it's your turn. Scan the QR code or click the link and grab 70% off your first order with code NERVE. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Oxford Natural. Let's get to work.